Favorite, according to Sportsbook.ag, would be a matchup between Seattle and Indy. Take a look. Seattle ending 15-1, followed by a rematch of Super Bowl 49 between Seattle and New England, or Green Bay and Indy, both at 18-1. So, Stephen A., take a look at the top five, according to Sportsbook.ag. Do you agree with these odds?
I actually do. I mean, numbers-wise, I don't pay much attention to that. But in terms of who has the best odds, Seattle going up against the Indianapolis Colts, I like that. I look at Seattle. The Legion of Boom remains intact. They're going to be healthy. Pete Carroll has to make amends for the most awful call in the history of the Super Bowl. It's the stupidest call I've ever seen. Okay, and then there's also the fact that they acquired Jimmy Graham. Now, the Legion of Boom has been Jimmy Graham's kryptonite, so obviously people could be down on him to some degree, but there's no question his athleticism, his ability to go up and get it, makes him one of the elite tight ends in the game of football. And the fact that he doesn't have to go up against the Legion of Boom, I think will embolden him even more to be better. And he was already pretty damn good, if not great. And so when I look at it from that perspective, the fact that Russell Wilson has that kind of target to go with the curse, to go with the rest of the crew that they have, I like what I'm seeing. Now, obviously, they re-signed the beast mode Marshawn Lynch as well, and their offensive line knows what it's doing. So when I look at Seattle and the mission that they're going to be on, combined with the fact that their personnel remained intact, and on top of it all, they acquired Jimmy Graham. I definitely think they're the team to beat in the NFC, although I suspect that the Green Bay Packers, and dare I say might even be the Dallas Cowboys, may have something to say about it. Watch out for Arizona, too, assuming Carson Palmer is healthy. In the case of the AFC, Skip, when I look at it, here's what it comes down to for me. I think defensively, the New England Patriots have lost too much. I think losing Browner and Revis is going to be a death knell for them. They'll still make it to the postseason regardless of Tom Brady being suspended for the first 4 games, even though I think that has a possibility of being reduced to 2. But I don't think they're the same team defensively, and I think that's going to be problematic for them. When I think about them, then I think about one other team, and that's the Denver Broncos. I'm not sure Peyton Manning is going to be what he used to be. And when I look at the Indianapolis Colts, the fact that they acquired Frank Gore and they've got Andre Johnson now, who's going to be on his own mission, and I believe he still has a lot left in him with the pieces that they already had in place. I got to admit to you, I think that the Indianapolis Colts, assuming their defense shows up to some degree, I think the Indianapolis Colts should be legitimately viewed as the team to beat in the AFC at this particular juncture.
My goodness, you've turned into John Clayton.
He is.
I've never heard something.
He knows what he's saying about.
All that NFL.
He's an expert.
Factoid stuff. Yeah, I'm
go that far.
Stephen A. Clayton.
So just doing my homework, baby. Just doing my homework.
You did. I'm impressed. I also did my homework, and I do not agree with his projection. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with your Indianapolis Colts. We know you love yourself some Andrew Luck, so
yes,
you're sort of leaning in that direction. And obviously, when you add a Frank Gore and an Andre Johnson to that offense, and you draft a Philip Dorsett out of Miami and his 4.33 speed to go with T.Y. Hilton and Kobe Fleener, you've got something. And I do not doubt this is going to be one of the best offenses in the National Football League, the Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Luck's offense. And if he continues to improve, because he does need to improve, especially in the postseason, and I'm not going to spew out all my Andrew Luck negativity stats on you. You know what they are. But he needs to go a little ways here in the playoffs to rise up to meet the projections that you have for him as a first ballot Hall of Famer. But we won't get into that. I'm looking at the other side of the ball in Indianapolis, and could you please, Stephen A. Clayton, explain to me how you could pick this team to be in the Super Bowl with that defense? Because last year, the Indianapolis Colts defense ranked 19th in points allowed out of 32 teams. That's not very good. 19th out of 32. They added Trent Cole. They added Kendall Langford. It's okay. They lost Corey Redding. They lost Sergio Brown. I don't know. It's like 6 of one, half dozen the other. I can't see the defense being that much better than it was last year. And I do remind you that in the second half in Foxborough, with regulation inflated footballs, Tom Brady and company did a 28-0 number on that defense in the second half with regulation inflated footballs, just for the record. So, to me, I can't, I'm sorry, I'm not sure about this team. And speaking of the New England Patriots, do you remember what a rampage for revenge they went on in 2007 after Spygate? Do you remember that? When they were just annihilating the league. They won their games that regular season by an average score of 37-17 did Tom Brady and company. Now, we don't know how many games he's going to be eligible to play. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he misses the first two. Again, I think he's going to take this to court to get an injunction to play all the games. But remember that year they went 16-0 in the regular season, won the first two playoff games to get to 18, and then unfortunately, we know what happened in the Super Bowl game. The luckiest play in Super Bowl history beat the New England Patriots. I won't even go into what Eli Manning did in the face catch.
You
and all
don't
that.
need
You know,
to.
David Tyree.
Well,
I don't
remember.
need to start on that.
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, let's keep in mind there's 16 games in the season, Skip Bayless. 4 of these games, they gave up the Indianapolis Colts, that defense that you're talking about. They gave up 31 to the Broncos in the opener. They gave up 30 to the Philadelphia Eagles on that Monday night game. They gave up 51 inexplicably. They just didn't show up on a Sunday afternoon in Pittsburgh. They gave up 42 2 weeks later to New England. So when you have those 4 games and you're giving up that many points, obviously that's going to raise some red flags. It's going to be an alarm. Outside of that, they were relatively respectable for the other 12 games. I'm just looking at it from the perspective that I think their defense is going to be a tad bit better. And I think offensively, they're going to be so much of a force that I think that it will offset what the defense isn't doing for you. So basically, you beat the Denver Broncos. Your kryptonite was the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. And since I don't anticipate that New England will be the same, that's the one team that I will be concerned about for the Indianapolis Colts. Although I would still, I would give New England an edge per se against the Colts. It's against the rest of the league, particularly when you might be getting beat up by defenses in Buffalo and the New York Jets within your own division, where where the Colts may not even have to deal with you, other than that one regular season game that you faced that once Tom Brady comes back from his suspension. So I look at it from that perspective, and I say the Indianapolis Colts. I can understand how there will be for those who see Seattle versus Indy. Now again, it's May. You know, by August or right before the season starts, we'll really get into it. We'll review the rosters and we'll make our predictions accordingly. But at this particular juncture, I would have to say I have no problem with Seattle versus Indianapolis being perceived
I
as
do
Super
have
Bowl
a
pick.
problem with Seattle, and I do love the acquisition of the big tight end Jimmy Graham. But what I don't love about this team, you know what happens when you have a play of that magnitude decide a Super Bowl game? There's some inevitable hangover. There's such backlash to the play that sometimes it's hard for the whole football team to lift itself back up. And I'm seeing that hangover maybe affecting Seattle next year. I'm seeing the carryover positive energy affecting my Dallas Cowboys next year. Right now, and it's only May, I would pick my Dallas Cowboys to be in the Super Bowl representing that side, that
You need to
conference.
tell Sports Look AG that.
You are certainly entitled to be completely clueless and lost on that particular
Although,
issue.
wait, you brought up Dallas as a contender. I heard you. It slipped out of the side of your mouth on the fly. You could not help yourself.
I brought him up as a contender by default because of what I'm witnessing within the NFC East. Although I think that the Giants may be a threat, assuming they get their offensive line together.
Yeah.
But that hangover effect that you're concerned about with Seattle, I don't have that. And the reason I don't have that, Skip, is because they have attitude. I've spoken to a few of the brothers on the Legion of Boom since they lost that Super Bowl. And the mentality that they have, they're not sitting back and wallowing in sorrow and all of that other stuff because they lost that game. Their mentality is that they weren't 100%. They overcame a lot of obstacles that people neither appreciate nor understand, and they are going to come back ready to raise hell next season. And that's what I anticipate they're going to do. So I would say that they're going to be the favorite so long as they're healthy, because I think that people are going to pay a price for sitting there and doubting those brothers. I really
Help
do.
me out because my memory gets foggy. What happened last year when Dallas visited Seattle?
They won.
They beat them.
Yeah, they won.
They beat them.
That's right. I forgot
They beat 'em.
that. You're right.
They beat them.
So
They beat 'em.
now my Dallas Cowboy
Early in the
defense.
season.
Not that early, but now my Cowboy
Early
defense
enough.
adds Byron Jones and Randy Gregory. And Sean Lee, the best linebacker, should come back relatively healthy.
Really?
Yep.
You gonna bring him up?
Why-
Come on now.
Why wouldn't I bring him up? He's the best player on the defense.
Because he can't stay healthy, Skip. I
Well,
like him a lot, but he
Okay,
can't
well, I'm
stay
going to
healthy.
say he will stay healthy
Okay.
this
I
time.
hope you're right.
Okay.
I hope you're right.
And again, Greg Hardy's down the line after 10 games. I don't know.
Can't bank on that.
Can't bank on it, but it couldn't hurt if he could play after 10 games.
Okay.
And this running back by committee is growing on me.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
starting to like it. Darren McFadden, Ryan Williams, Joseph Randall, Lance Dunbar, and then that receiving court. Does it get any better than what my Cowboys have with Dez and T. Will and Jason Witten and Cole Beasley? Cole Beasley out of the slot? Is he not a force
Yeah.
now? I'm
Yeah.
saying, wait a second. Romo should have been the regular season MVP.
Why?
I thought, well, he should have
So,
been.
Skip.
He had the numbers.
Skip. This is not a Cowboys game. You are not a Cowboys cheerleader. You don't have, the pom-poms are going to have to wait, bro. We're not going here. It's May.
Put 'em away.
I'm not going to sit here
I got
and
a
listen
feeling.
to you sell
I got a
me on the
vibration
Cowboys.
right here in the
I got a
seat.
feeling.
Yeah.
You
I
better
got
stop
a
it.
metallic blue
Please.
feeling.
Ain't nobody trying to hear. Nobody
Yeah.
trying to hear that in May.
Yeah.
Wait until August.
It's
I mean,
May.
Lord, spare me the Cowboy
It's
stuff in
May.
May. Will you?
You
It's
know,
basketball time. I'm not interested in you lying about the Cowboys and trying to feed Cowboy Nation into believing they're going to be Super Bowl contenders. Could you at least wait until July, August to do that, please?
No.
You went away.
In my sports book, I got Dallas representing the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Okay,
That's
sportsbook got skipped.
And I have to wait on the Patriots to
I
see
got
what
Romo
Brady's
and
penalty
Garrett.
is.
I got Romo and Garrett showing up to the NBA Finals. How about that?
Okay.
That's what
all
I got.
you got?
Yes.
I don't know. Cowboys, Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah. Okay, but I think they're
Spare
gonna,
me.
they're getting
Not
it.
They're in
interested.
Super Bowl 50?
Yeah. Is that what it is? We're up to 50?
We're in Super Bowl 50.
How quickly the years go by.
All right, man. LeBron James playing Big Brother and agent to Tristan Thompson. What happens? What do the Cavs brass have to say about that after the break?